Recording now. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is Monday, May 13th at 6 p.m. We're here at the Town Hall, 108 Main Street, Falls Village, Connecticut, in person and Zoom for the Board of Selectmen regular meeting. On the agenda tonight, I am going to add a couple of items this evening. But I think we can get to the Selectmen's report when we add those items, I believe, and then we'll carry those items over.
Yeah, I have two items that I'd like to add.
We'll bring them up when we hit the Selectmen's report, and maybe we have some duplicates.
Okay.
Okay. Any public comments?
Greg Marlowe. We'd like to know an update or get an update, 35 Railroad Street. My understanding that it needs a survey, you know, that there's been discussion about that. Is that the schedule? And
That's on tonight under updates.
Oh, excellent. Yes. I've been communicating with the potential buyer.
That has not been, and I can speak to that also. Okay, thank you.
Oh, Vince.
I'm sorry, Vincent.
Yeah, Vincent, referring to the meeting the other night on Friday, I thought it was a good meeting with a lot of input and everything. And my comment about not being penny wise and pound foolish, I hope is taken seriously. But you mentioned the ARPA funds that are no longer available and they went to Yukon. I remember you saying that, and I tried to track that today. I was getting from Maria Horn's office that and a letter from August of last year. So can you bring that up to date?
I can speak to that right now. The last thing that I had seen, and it's only been on the statewide news, WTNA, TIC, and what is it, NBC 30. They talked about the $300 to $400 million that were available from the ARPA funds, and that they were going to the Yukon system. Now, I can't say that it's going to Yukon stores or Central or what have you, but it was going to the Yukon system. And it appears from what I've seen that they're not earmarked for anywhere else at this point in time. Now, I don't know, Vincent, if that's, ironclad, but that's what we're getting from the news. And one of Governor Lamont's, it was now 2 weeks ago, I believe, but I probably could find it. One of his communiques talked about the money going to Yukon.
Yukon meaning University
of Connecticut, I'm sorry.
And what crossed my mind when you said that was that if that's true, could we build collaboration more with the university and build collaboration more in a way to get some of the people assistance we may need in running the community by finding people that are looking for careers in community and politics and so forth, and bring them in not as interns, but in a collaborative manner. If there's that much money that went over and it's sitting there and they're not sure what they're going to do with it, if we could be proactive and look into that, that might be interesting. But there's a lot of students that need help.
That point well taken.
I think, I'm not positive, but I think that a large part of that money is going to build a dorm at the University of Connecticut.
Store at Hartford. Oh, that's because they're expanding the Hartford campus.
I'm not positive, but I think a good deal of that ARPA money is going back.
Could be. Okay. Anyone? Oh, I'm sorry.
Regan Zany. I was curious to know if there was progress with getting internet access to the office at the transfer station.
There has been no progress as we're moving through this budgetary process. It may not even happen.
Okay.
I'd just like to say thanks to the committee, with the Selectmen committee, for taking care of the trees on the end and the debacle of the tree. Debacle, didn't you guys take care of that? Put it on a line item or something?
Oh, I'm sorry, tree removal.
No, for the installation of the trees that were cut down.
Oh, there was no line item.
No line item.
Okay, so was that ever resolved in any way?
We'll resolve it this evening.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sounds like plans.
Sorry, just, yeah, I was a little confused.
Yeah, I'm concerned about like, is there a set maintenance program for like grading the roads? So we only have the 4 roads that we have, Stein Lane, the Mountain Road. And I think Machine has a little spot and Deer Run and
The deer,
Amy.
like
The other, all the ones around town have been done, but it seems like the Mountain Road waits until after mowing or. Seems like July or August at some
Okay.
time.
It's something we can look into, and I'll have to tell you, Dusty, I'm not exactly sure on how the maintenance goes. I can speak to Amy Road, half of it was washed out, okay? But where I live, and I know that, our DPW manager had to cover that over because some of the underground wires were actually exposed
Oh,
off.
yeah, it's all the maintenance, yeah.
Yeah,
So I
so,
didn't know if there was like a schedule, like I know in my business, we have a schedule of every spring. In these, there's usually 3-4 weeks,
mhm,
the beginning of spring, where it's dry enough to do something.
right.
And,
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was an actual maintenance thing, like mowing or sweeping or mowing the lawn or.
Yeah, I can attest that, Mountain Road is really, really rough.
Okay,
yeah,
so that's something we'll mention to.
And I've also
to Tim
offered in the
tomorrow.
past to truck, bring that grader up because there's a long way for the grader to go. And, so I just want to state that's still available.
It probably takes a long time for that grader to make.
Well,
yeah.
not really that long at all. It seems like it's an excuse all the time.
Okay. One well taken.
One with it. When it was pointed out Friday night that it takes probably 7 years, because all we have is enough money to do a mile. And I looked at the condition in front of my home on the mountain, and I don't understand. Some of the things that were pointed out is that we're not broke, that we're not in such a financial situation that we can't spend money. And if I'm not misinformed, I don't think that budget has changed for 7 years or 10 years in terms of that amount of money. Hey, we all know how much more money everything costs.
Thank you. Steve,
I just wanted.
oh, you still have to identify yourself.
Oh, sorry, it's Stephen.
I'm sorry, this is.
Music round. I just wanted to follow up from our last meeting because it was a special meeting, so we couldn't add a few of the tree stuff to the agenda back then, but I did want to say thank you for taking care of the trees at the end. Another success after doing the sign in front of town hall, so very happy.
Which reminds me, we gotta get that sign picked up in front of town hall.
Yeah. So I mentioned to a couple of people on the board that Heather was in an accident.
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't know that.
Fractured her ankle.
Oh,
One up on
And
the,
then they found out that she needed a little bit of surgery, so they just did that. And I was in contact with her, and she said she'll be down, by Memorial Day.
I didn't even know that, I apologize.
and she,
It's all in the works.
Yeah,
yeah,
Okay.
she can.
I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate it.
We digress.
So I wanted to get back to the tree warden idea and to ask if you as selectmen were willing to have more than one tree warden in town. It is a volunteer position, so it could help the community to have another person assist. And Dusty Blass has expressed interest in taking the class, and it might be good to just have someone else in the community looking and getting together to understand the problems with the ash trees. Connected to that, I wanted to also mention the budget for tree removal is still at $9,000. I know this may not be the year to increase the budget, and I understand that, but I do think that we should start looking at that in the future because the ash tree problem is going to be an issue. And tied into that, we do have a forestry commission, so maybe we could bring the forestry commission into these tree decisions for our town, since we do have a group of people that probably has some really good knowledge of that.
We did increase that line item, by the way, from 8,000 to 9,000. And I know 1,000.
No, it's great. The
Yeah,
Walmart tree.
and this,
That's great.
But also, Steve, a lot of the trees, if they're along the power line,
Right,
CLP
different people.
or Eversource do take care of that,
That's
so.
why I think you need a couple of folks that do the legwork, okay, to properly have a maintenance program.
Mhm.
To just willy-nilly, like it seems to have always been, the reactive instead of proactive.
Yeah.
And to start marking them, to have a list of what should be cut down, what needs to be cut down, what is someone else's responsibility, and then following up with who's that.
And hold that thought with Eversource, because I had a meeting with Eversource this morning at 10:30.
Good, that's.
So hold that thought
No, great.
regarding trees.
So part of that is, I wonder if there is like a town maintenance, program for the trees, is there a list of
No,
what's someone else following, what's the town, state?
no. We take it, we've, in the past, we've taken it basically on a case by case basis.
I know that they were all on, Page Road today, taking down that
Right.
trees.
Yeah, there was a bunch down there. for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
I also wanted to inquire about the Falls Village sign on Warren Turnpike is down, and is that going to be put back on?
I may speak to that, and you can speak to that also,
Oh, the historic site?
Yeah.
Oh, there's 4 of them.
or down.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Just later what?
Age. They
Oh,
were out up in the
okay.
70s.
I thought it was impacting the store.
No. They were on 4x4 posts basically, and they had rotted out. We don't have it this evening, but, our selected here has been given the task of putting that together. We did, wow, about 4 or 5 years ago, looked into a grant for that. With our EDC at that time, and it was denied at that time, so we let it drop at that point in time, but we do have a plan that is putting together going forward.
Perfect. Oh, and then, sorry, Greg, and last but not least, the planning and zoning commission, I hope has forwarded you the village parking plan. For your approval, so I wanted to make sure that that hopefully got on tonight's agenda.
It has been added to our agenda. I just received it this morning at 8:33, something like that.
Thank you.
Okay. I received something at 8:33 this morning. Okay, so I have it, so it'll be in addition to the agenda.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
I would just like to add, Judy, if funding becomes an issue for the sign replacement, if you could just put the word out, I'm sure
That's
our
what I-
town
That's
will
what
love
we're-
to back it up.
Can I respond?
Oh, please.
So since it is a town signage program for the historic district, that's the National Historic District. And since I got prices from Geese Sign to replace those, which was 2 years ago, $800 a sign, but they're the aluminum, so they won't rot. And what we're going to do, since we don't have the money in the budget, is we're going to run it through the Historical Society. So people can donate towards that. So maybe you wanna sponsor a sign. And it'll be a tax contribution, deduction for you. And it'll be the same as what we did with the banners. We ran the banners through the Historical Society, so people get the tax break too.
Yeah,
So
if you need extra money, please just let us know.
you'll see it on Facebook. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
One thing on the trees, I will say that when I was for selectmen, there was a move. And we did have a list of trees, but we got a lot of resistance from some of the folks in town about taking them down. So what happened, instead of taking them down, they trimmed them, we put guide wires on them and all that sort of thing. So that was one resistance factor in taking down some of the trees. So yeah, you might want to keep that in mind as you think about your plan for the trees. The other question, David, I don't know whether I was never sure on this or not, but if the tree is in the right of way, the town's right of way, who's responsible for the tree? The town,
The town,
even though it's not really your property.
yes.
I just wanted, I knew that, but I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to. That was that. Yes, you're right.
That was a teaching moment.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands that even though, it's on the owner's property, because it's in the right of way, the town's responsible for.
Correct. Anybody on
Nothing in chat, but I have a comment if no one else does.
Identify yourself.
Denise, come on. Lots of great comments tonight, from everybody, but I'm really disappointed on the Wi-Fi at the transfer station. That's been talked about for over a year.
Yes, it has. And what we did was we looked at putting it in there, okay? And again, now we're dealing with our budget and seeing if we have enough money. Now, we are doing some other work, as I will brief you on a little bit later when we talk about setting up the senior center with the Wi-Fi with Yucatec. We had a meeting here today where they looked at what was possible, so we might be able to do something with them. But I appreciate the fact that we want to get it over there. The problem is, is it going to be an additional cost, which it is. So we're, as you know, we've actually submitted a budget several times. So if we have the wiggle room, we'll do it.
How big a cost is it?
I don't know right off the top of my head, Vincent, and I'd be less than honest to actually quote something for you. But again, we're pinching pennies here. So
We'll also ask him, he's a town employee that brings home work. And has to do it at home, and the transfer of documents and all that kind of stuff. Wouldn't it make sense just to, I mean, it's like a simple hookup, like when you move.
right. He was actually here today doing work. So
Yeah,
using our internet here. So
so I get that help.
it does, but
Here's a clarification on this historical size. How much did you say aside?
2 years ago, the sign quoted us $800 just for the top, and then we would have to supply the.
So probably the price is about the same, or slightly
A
elevated.
little bit more. I'm thinking with the post and everything, it shouldn't be more than $1,000 a sign.
And how many is there for?
four.
Corinna Fleming, just out of curiosity, is the transfer station fee gonna be back on the tax bill, or do I have to wait and see?
The tax bill.
So the $40 or whatever it was, 60.
Except
Will
for
be-
businesses.
Right,
Businesses.
businesses have.
Okay.
Since the Greg Marlowe again, thank you for acknowledging me twice, 3 times. Since you're gonna be charging for the transfer station again. That's not really a budgetary item, that's at the discretion of the Board of Selectmen. Maybe you could add a dollar on per household and the internet.
No, the
Critical to have.
Absolutely,
transfer station fees in other towns are way
much higher than ours.
than what we charge.
So right now there's Frontier, right? He has a telephone. So if we get Comcast for the internet, we can eliminate the Frontier, correct? So how much more would it be?
I'd be less than honest in telling you, Chris, right off the top of my head. I
Yeah.
really don't know, but that's something that I will make the phone call about tomorrow.
You can make your house up for $100.
Yeah, but then it's the continuing, yeah. Right. Anybody on? No one.
Nothing on chat.
Okay. All right, approval of the pending minutes on April 8th, 2024, the special meeting minutes, April 11th, special meeting minutes, and April 16th, 2024, special meeting minutes. I believe we probably can take all three of those. And I'll take a motion if you review them.
I have, so. Make the motion to approve the minutes, the 8th, 11th, and 16th.
Second it, and I have a couple of amendments to the 11th. I think it should hit on item 5. To move to executive session, it should reference that just the selectmen. That no one else was present in the executive session. It's kind of open for conjecture that present was Michelle Hanson and Tim Downs. They were excluded from executive session with just the three.
Okay, I really thought that would be implied executive session, since we're the executives.
Sure, right, yeah,
I would think it would be implied, but we can make,
okay.
Okay, you're making that motion?
Yeah, well, I guess, the motion after the motion,
well,
Motion.
let's
to
amend the motion. Okay, you,
include that, on item 5, that it was, just the 3 selectmen in executive session.
By name.
by name.
That's the
Then,
11th.
That's the 11th.
that was on the 11th, then on the 16th. There were 2, well, at the very top. The meeting was called to order at 2, not 12. On the header. And then, 2 items, referendum expenses cut to 500, it was actually cut 500 to 1,000.
Mhm.
And then, social services director was cut to 35,511.34 from 39,457.51.
Okay, those figures came from our treasurer, so,
Yeah, I checked I checked the report that she put out on, the 16th. And confirmed that was consistent with that. The proposed budget.
I have it. What date? 5/16,
March
number 2?
16th, yeah. This one here. Oh, I mean, so that is the,
Oh, I'm sorry.
what's that one number? That's under,
so which
One third.
ones? was-
the 2 items were, referendum expenses. What's up on the right now?
Oh, it's in the register? Let's see. It's the bottom of page 3, Department 1014.
Okay, so.
So-
Referendum expenses $1,000.
You cut it to 1,000.
Cut it to 2,000.
To 1,000 instead of 500.
Right, and then, social services. Was, director. It's up to 35,511.84.
Okay,
It's it,
84, did you say?
yeah,
Okay. Can I just repeat that? That Chris is making a motion to amend the motion to include in item 5 for April 11th, 2023, name the 3 selectmen who entered executive session. And on the 16th, change noon to 2 p.m. in the header. Change social services was cut to $35,511.84 and cut referendum expenses to $1,000. Okay.
a second.
All in favor of the amendment, to the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Uh,
Now back to the original motion to accept the minutes as amended.
So moved.
second,
All in favor? Aye. Aye. The treasurer and tax collectors report. Went over this earlier. There is an explanation with this as requested by the Board of Selectmen, excuse me, Board of Finance. And I'll make a motion that we accept the Treasurer's report.
So move.
Seconded with a comment that, again, I would prefer to accept these after the board of finance has a chance. to
Receive.
Accept them.
I'm sorry, receive. I apologize, receive. All in favor of receiving them?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Tax collectors report.
Did I?
She emailed them today.
Okay.
Just looking at the selection. We are at our current year collection rate, collected versus tax levy is 99.24%. Which is of note. And this is as of April 30th, 2024. Take a motion to receive the tax collector's report.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Written and oral communications, I did receive an email communication this morning from Susan Sweetapple regarding the trees by the end, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on, as I would like to add that as an agenda item. Other than that, I do not have anything, but the additions to the agenda. Under Selectmen's report. The TRIPS grant. T, invoices from Allied Engineering Associates. Q, the parking plan for Railroad Street. R, Falls Village Inn and the trees, the communication from Susan Sweetapple. And S, the herbicide working group who's been working along the Houstonic Railroad Way.
Dave, are any of these action items? You want to put them under new business?
We'll probably put the invoices and the trees under new business.
Okay. So trips, parking plan and herbicide working group are just discussion only?
Discussion only at this time.
So trips is O, parking plan is P. And
Q is
herbicide
parking
is
plan.
under new business?
Wait a minute.
Allied Engineering is P.
Oh,
You're putting that under new business as an action item, right?
No, I'm not putting that. It's under action item.
Oh,
No. What we would be looking at is the it's a cooking thing. No.
So none of them are action items?
I want R to be an action item.
Okay.
so that'll go into business.
Trees.
So that'll go under new business.
new business trees, so that's D. And the others just go under selectmen's report?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if this falls under old business, the 10 grand that we owed Cardinal Engineering that was approved was that ever paid? It was paid, okay.
And now he's just waiting for the infrastructure committee to get back to him.
Okay, did you get you must have gotten some emails on that?
I received an email. Remember, we spoke last week.
Sure.
He was
Forwarded
waiting
that?
for us. Okay.
Yeah, because I
Didn't put that on you or.
no, I haven't seen anything
Okay.
from since from the week after he was
He's
here.
waiting for our comments.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Okay, to the selectmen's report,
I need a motion to add these
Oh.
to,
please.
a motion to add trips, O under selectmen's allied engineering voices as P. Parking plan as Q, herbicide working group as R.
No, Falls Village Falls Village Inn and trees is R.
Under new business.
Oh,
Falls Village trees, when you move to new business, right?
yes.
So that'd be new business D.
Right. Okay, I'm sorry. and herbicide working.
So the herbicide's just under selectmen's report.
Right.
You wanna make that motion?
I was looking at.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, Selectmen's report. A, Town of Canaan Cemetery Sexton appointment. Tracy Wilson has said that she forwarded us an email saying that she would be interested in becoming the sexton. Currently, we don't have a sexton or the town cemeteries except for Grassy Hill, which Dick Hines is currently. I consider this that Tracy has done this before earlier and is familiar with some of the records that we have, but she has been somewhat of a historian of the cemeteries, so has a working knowledge of them. So we'll talk to this under the new business. Take action. We also have a request from Fred Laser, chairman of the P&Z, to reappoint Mark Rosen as an alternate. We'll consider that later. This morning I met with two representatives from Eversource, and we covered quite a bit of ground. And not to belabor the point regarding what we covered everything from trees to the work on the substation. We are going to get together with one of their arborists in the next few weeks. We'll be talking about trees in the area that may need to be cleared. We're also going to be talking more about the work on the substation. Work on the substation will begin, again, they're working right now, but the work in earnest will begin sometime in January. And there'll be major upgrades to that facility. The footprint will be a bit larger than it is now. And when I say the footprint, they won't be taking any additional property, but in fact, their fenced-in area will be larger than it is now. But we will keep you up to date on that. The one thing that we did impress upon them was 2 days over the past couple of weeks, they had a subcontractor who closed the bridge between us and Salisbury, and they failed to let us know. And that is just a problem for our emergency personnel here. So again, something we impressed upon them, but it was a very good meeting, I thought, with them. Let's see. Connecticut DOT Active Transportation Micro Grant Program, still working with that, working with Nikki Glass up at the grade school up at Lee H. Kellogg. We're going to get, hopefully, we applied for a small grant, a micro grant for bicycle safety. Something that we can use in making the town more bicycle friendly and more pedestrian friendly. Again, it is a small grant. It will help us. It will help the school and education and so forth. And hopefully we'll roll on over to the rec commission if this grant goes right and we're able to apply for it for a second and third time. Litchfield County Housing, there was meetings on the 16th and the 23rd. Next meeting is this Friday, May 17th. Just more talk about housing and where we see us going in the northwest corner. I think probably the best thing to come out of any of these meetings is the joint effort of all the towns in working to find housing. Northwest Hills, item F, educational cost sharing from Sam Herrick. Our fiscal year 2022-23 was $125,752. Our fiscal current is $125,752. No difference in our town. And since we have our representative to the high school, thank you. Northwest Hills Council of Governments, the National Opioid Settlement Funds, and the initiatives. If I could read this letter into the record, we'll give you a copy. Okay, dear First Selectman Barger and the Canaan Falls Village Board of Selectmen. On June 1st, 2023, 11 towns in our region executed a memorandum of understanding to contribute their national opioid settlement funds to the regional opioid response fund, the RORF, organized under the auspices of the Northwest Hills Council of Governments. The RORF is an innovative model that solves the challenges of our small towns faith in making a significant impact on local opioid prevention and treatment. The RORF aims to continue reducing the community and fiscal impacts of substance abuse, as well as the administrative burden on the town staff when receiving these settlement funds. Our collective efforts have garnered noteworthy support from the Commissioner of Mental Health Services, Nancy Navarrete, and we've been further recognized as a model in the media by the Connecticut Mirror and WSHU Public Radio. To date, they've allocated $36,028 of the $73,718.95 collected towards the following projects. Number one, the Leave Behind Kit Training Initiative. Local emergency medical services organizations and the participating towns are provided training, education, and leave behind kits, which contain naloxone, a CPR mask, instructions, and resource cards. These are intended for the EMS crews to provide to families and loved ones when responding to suspected overdoses. To date, 6 EMS crews that cover 8 of the 11 participating towns have received training in these kits. We are one of the towns that have received the kits and the training. Harm reduction supplies. The Litchfield County Opiate Task Force received 12 months of supplies to distribute through Rover sites. In March 2024, a report to the RORF highlighted that this funding prevented a potential service disruption caused by Connecticut Harm Reduction Alliance causing the supply distribution in late 2023. The funding was also allowed for the purchase of new harm reduction methods and alternative drug administration methods, making us first in Connecticut to offer these essential supplies. As your town participates as your town anticipates receiving payments from various settlements through the upcoming years, we emphasize the importance of our collaborative efforts and the RORF. Your involvement is crucial to extending our reach and efficacy in addressing this epidemic. We invite you to continue or commence your participation in the RORF, showcasing your dedication to not only your town, but our region at large. For details on joining the RORF settlement allocations or how to partner directly with your town's local prevention council, please contact us. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of these affected by the crisis. As you know, we receive settlements on a regular basis, checks, and we turn them over to the COG for the opioid settlement. Okay. The Discover Connecticut Bike Tour. This will be another one of our action items. We received this from Rick Barry, Board of Directors, and from Terry Burke, who is the gentleman in the area who will be doing this. Let me just need the letter for you. Discover Connecticut Tour, Sunday, September 8th, 2024. Dear First Selectmen, the 2019 Discover Connecticut Tour in Northwest Connecticut was so successful with participants truly enjoying the northwest corner of Connecticut that we'd like to repeat the event again this year. They're looking for Sunday, September 8th, 2024, and to bike walk Connecticut in the Upper Housatonic Valley National Heritage Area. They will co-host the 2024 annual Discover Connecticut Tour, a group bicycle ride and walk tailored to explore the scenic Litchfield Hills and the portions of the multi-state Western New England Greenway. As you know, we're right along the Western New England Greenway. And what they are looking for is permission from the town to utilize local roadways for this event, which we've also done for the Tour de Litchfield. I do know that they are talking about, they will be asking permission to set up pop-up tent on the green at the water stop. So what I would ask, we'll get to this under action items, but we sign off on this also. Memorial Day This Monday, May 27th, 2024. We will have the traditional parade in town. We are putting together the Board of Selectmen along with the Rec Commission and the library. We are all putting something together for that day. And I think everyone will be pleased. Just as an aside, and we'll mention this again, Pete Bixley, what's June 10th? And we will be recognizing on June 10th and through the Lieutenant Governor's office. We will be recognizing all our Korean War veterans and Vietnam veterans that we're getting together with the town of North Canaan to have a get together at so
What time
Well,
is that?
that will be that particular day. They're holding on to it at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But I received a call from John Kelly, the communications officer for Lieutenant Governor Weissowitz, and the time is, since we're combining the two towns, there's a little bit of play in the time.
That's in June.
June 10th, which will be a Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance meeting. So the earlier the better for us.
Yeah.
The National Day of Prayer was held on Thursday, May 2nd, held on the town green with over 30 participants. The Board of Selectmen put together a letter to Margot and Chuck Lewis for organizing the event. Got to say, it's been the largest event that I've been to since I've been on the Board of Selectmen, and even prior to that. But I think the official count was 32, but I can safely say over 30. Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day will be coming up. We have our notification of that at the town garage. That'll be Saturday, June 8th from 9 till 12. Make sure you get your tickets to get your hazardous materials in. We have a certificate from the Secretary of the State, Stephanie Thomas. And I guess every town got this, but it was sent to us. So it's from the Office of the Secretary of the State. The Honorable Stephanie Thomas presents a certificate to Canaan for your tireless efforts and collaboration in the inaugural implementation of early voting during this historic year in Connecticut. Signed April 12th. 2024 by Stephanie Thomas. Our bridge and infrastructure meeting, have we rescheduled that yet?
Yeah, it's this Thursday.
Okay.
I gotta get the agenda out.
Because I have
6 p.m.
might be able to make a historical society meeting.
Okay.
The had a meeting this morning with Yucatec for about 1.5 hour. They are going to get back to us regarding setting up Wi-Fi from the town hall here over to the senior center for early voting. So again, I don't have all the where to's and what fors at this particular moment. They're going to put something together, but as far as feasibility, it's feasible to do it. Item O, prints. Unfortunately, we didn't have all that measuring we did, Greg. Did not come to fruition for the sidewalks. We missed the first round of the trips. They closed the trips grant, but they are going to reopen it in a few months again, and I feel that we should reapply. Again, there's a lot of interest in making the town a lot more pedestrian friendly, and we had a very good plan. Unfortunately, we didn't get the money for it, so that'll be somewhere in the future, hopefully. For the selectmen here, I have 2 invoices that we received from Allied Engineering Associates about a week ago, or a little bit better. I met with George Johansson And there were a couple of outstanding bills. One for the 35 Railroad Street Sale Committee, and I think we're covered by that. I do have to go back and look at the minutes. That bill was actually from September. And then we have a bill, and again, let me just clarify something. I know that I spoke with Steve Koshland regarding a bill that I thought was $650 or $660. I spoke with the ADA office at the time, and I thought that was the only bill, and they couldn't tell me what it was for. So I made the assumption that it might have been for our parking plan. When I met with George, he presented me with two bills. The second bill is for $2,297.50. To the best of my recollection, I'm not sure that that was ever moved on in the P and Z, looking over the minutes, the earlier meetings. That was and I know that it didn't come to the first selectman insofar as for approval. So I'm going to refer this bill to the Board of Finance also. I'm not quite sure. I already gave a copy to Fred Laser for him to take a look at it also, but we do want to be good on our debts here. And this one actually regarding the parking plan was from September. So again, we need to catch up with these bills.
Could we get any contract documents or anything?
This is all that I have from George right now. I can reach out to him once again, but again, I just he wanted to meet with me, I wanted to meet with him, and I have to be honest, it took us probably a good 3 weeks to get together.
Like the parking study layout options. So there's something, Greg, do you know of anything that
Well, we can go on to the next item, which is the parking plan. And I think that everyone, thank you, Greg. I think we all got a copy of the parking plan emailed, although I couldn't make the attachment print for the life of me here. So I'll probably have to try it at home. But insofar as the parking plan, we initially looked at it a while back, and I'd have to look at our minutes to see when we actually looked at it. But now we have a new Board of Selectmen. Again, I'm the only remaining selectman, and I would like to get back to it. I would like to study it with the Board of Selectmen and take a look at it, because I don't want to speak for the other two selectmen. So we need to discuss it. So there'll be no action on it tonight. We'll just have to set an agenda to look at it.
There'll be a special meeting for that.
There will be a special meeting for that, but I first ask you to look. I'm gonna have to print it out. For the plan again, so, okay. But again,
that's the only document they've created? Was that?
I think that. Did you have?
there was another working map, right?
There's two options, and we chose, the planning and zoning chose the one that said that's true.
Oh,
Okay, so if we decide to go ahead with this project, are they gonna give us more? Or is this basically it?
well, first we have to, first we need to discuss this among the selectmen as to where we're gonna go with this. And my other concern is just, I'll be honest with you, is getting the bill paid.
Yeah.
All right,
Sure.
for the work done.
That's what they wanted, yeah.
Because again, the work was done last year in September, and it does need to be, certainly does need to be, it needs to be compensated for it. Because we do use AEA quite a bit, and I want to keep
them happy.
Well, not keep them happy, but I do want to keep a good working relationship, and there's nothing worse than a town being a deadbeat.
Sure.
So again,
So these did not come to the Board of Selectmen?
they did not come to the Board of Selectmen, they didn't come to the Board of Finance. Okay. George actually hand carried them to me.
Okay. So there was no prior approval of them?
No prior approval. Hold on. let me clarify that. For the parking plan, there was no prior approval that I know of. I just want to double check. I believe the 35 Railroad Street, I believe we are covered. I believe that because that was work, as requested by the attorney. Okay. On to item R. Received an email this morning from Sue Sweet Apple. Okay. And she said that she had been in contact with one of our selectmen. And talked to him at length. And cited statute 52-560 of the Connecticut General Statutes. The only thing that I would ask, okay, is to keep within the statute, so on and so forth. I would think that we need to know what type of tree it was that was cut down. I'm going to I freely admit that doesn't fall within my wheelhouse. And I would check with our DPW manager to see what type of tree it was cut down. I don't know.
It was a Norway maple,
A Norway maple?
right,
Okay,
which is considered invasive.
Yeah,
okay, all right.
junk.
All right, so we'll replace it with a Norway maple.
I'm not sure if we can do that. I don't know if we can.
It's invasive.
We can't replace it with that. Okay, that gives us a little bit of conundrum because we want to replace one for one.
So, if I can address she told me where the tree was cut down. She asked for a crimson maple, which, I mean, a 2-inch or 3-inch crimson maple is probably $350. My opinion is, the town's been under this weight for a while, and for $350, to have it go away, my opinion is money well spent. You can argue whether it's an invasive and whether Tim did right or whatever. The fact of the matter is it was cut off of her property. He owns it. So,
Okay, yeah, that's one of the things it requires in the statute that it comes directly from the owner. So that's Great Falls LLC, right?
I guess,
Yes,
I'm not sure.
The only thing is we'd have to have an official request from them, and I just want to stand on the statute
Yep,
here,
yep.
that's all.
Yeah.
So, when, we'll convey that to her and then, we can move on it.
I think the other thing, I'm not sure, I mean, she showed me where it was, and I'm not sure where the property line is. Because it's under the building, so there's no question.
I'd have to look at it, man.
Yeah, there's no question it's on her land. And I don't think we really don't want to put it in the exact same location.
Well, we would have to put it back on her property.
Not back on her property, but I mean, probably further up the bank. So it doesn't become an issue again.
Isn't that what the septic is?
Yeah, would that run a problem with the septic?
I'm talking like maybe 5 feet. 5 feet further up the bank from
The-
from where the existing one is.
What I'm gonna ask, Chris, is if you could get together, take a look at this, okay, because I want to make sure, number one, we're putting it where it should be. Number two, I don't want to put something where it's going to interfere with any drain field or any septic.
Yeah, I agree.
So before we take action on it, I just want those, and again, I hate to be a stickler, and I'm not trying to be a stickler here. I think, as everyone says, we've, had this on our agenda way too long. But I want to make sure we're doing the correct things. Sure.
You don't want it to bite it.
Right.
No, right, yeah.
So,
Okay, I'll look into that.
okay. Just getting to the last item here that I have is the herbicide working group. Your quarters of the Houstonic Herbicide Working Group. Our local state representative Maria Horn was co-sponsor, and Senator Stephen Harding was a supporter of a new bill, HB 5219, that requires railroads to modify their vegetation management plans in ways that significantly protect the watercourses, wetlands, and aquifers beside the railroad. The Houstonic Herbicide Working Group has had the privilege of meeting with both legislators to discuss our concerns and the need for expanded statutes concerning the railroad right-of-way management in Connecticut. Just not to go through the entire thing. Basically, what they're looking for us to do is kind of copy what Massachusetts has done over the years with limiting what type of herbicides could be used, because our railroad tracks run right next to the river. So again, some environmental concerns there.
Do they limit, do they just limit what you can use and not really where it can be used?
Actually, it requires more details to their vegetation management plan, the VMP. And under this new statute, when it does go into effect, it'll require us as municipal authorities to post the VMP on the town website. Right now, it's not required. And again, there's a long list of requirements that will be determined by DEP. So once this all comes together, it'll be sometime around, well, it won't be sometime around, but if it passes, the new law will take effect July 1. Okay. Old business, 35 Railroad Street update. We are currently still in negotiations. I reached out to actually Mr. Gillespie today to give him some updates, but I hadn't heard back from him. We are looking at a survey. I've been with our legal counsel, Emily Vale, and with one of our local folks, Matt Kiefer, who does a lot of surveying and has done surveying in that area before. We are still working on a plan on when and how to survey, how they want to do it. Again, this has to do with the easement. So that's our update right now. Economic development, do you have anything, Judy?
Just basically been talking with a lot of the local businesses, what their needs are. If there's anything we can do to help them. Still looking through that pile of grants, but they're kind of up in the air. Working with the Center of Maine, trying to come up with some grants, and they've had some pretty good options over there. So that's looking promising.
Okay. Move on to new business. We got the rebates from consideration approval of extension. I will consider a motion to have Tracy Wilson appointed as our town cemetery sexton, except for Grassy Hill Cemetery, which is still Dick Hines.
So moving.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We will let Tracy know. And I would like to have a motion on consideration of appointment to the town of Canaan zoning board, zoning commission, Mark Rosen as an alternate.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
You need start and end.
Oh, I don't have that. Okay.
Alternate is how many years?
6 years, May 31st, 24 was the end of his term, so it would be from May 31st, 24 to May 31st, 30, right?
So
Cheers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So to begin May 31st, 2024 and expires May 31,
second.
20.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you.
Okay, discussion of the solar project committee. Do you have anything new on that? Chris?
Only that, let's see, since we've last had our monthly meeting here, we met with Connecticut Green Bank and Titan Generation. Two they kind of project engineers, so to speak, And I asked the assessor for a list of town-owned property. She's working on getting us that. Our next meeting is the 15th, and we need to read through both the presentations from Titan and Connecticut Green Bank. So good conversation, good discussion that we've been having.
I think you also need the electric bills.
The electric bills, we'll get to those. Yeah.
Things that will be paid
I
by
think
the
we
town.
actually, but
I
I
have
believe
that.
so the treasurer here before, I believe that we had collected all those earlier
Yeah.
for the other company that we were.
That's right, and we do have that, I guess with the source of discussion, we can use those and.
But I think we have to pass them on to whoever we're consulting with.
We'll do that when, we'll get a fresher set when we do that, kind of, but I'm not quite sure we're quite there yet.
As a matter of fact, we just signed all the electric bills. So,
Did you say?
Not yet.
okay, do we have any other business to come before the Board of Selectmen? Because I want to be respectful of the Board of Finance's time tonight. Any other public comment? Again.
Just one thing on your executive session that you were worried about, Chris. Normally, when you go into executive session, if you do not ask somebody to come into the executive session, in addition to the Board of Selectmen in this case, it would not appear in the minutes that they would be in. So you have to actually vote as a Board of Selectmen to include somebody else to go into the executive session.
I'm sorry, we have to go back to new business scene, D, which was the trees mouth Falls Village Inn.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I think that I would make a motion to table that until Chris has had an opportunity to look at the area, ascertain whether or not planting such a tree would encroach on anyone else's property or into the septic system.
Okay, can I take it a little bit further and get 3 quotes for a replacement?
Yes.
All for that.
I'll do that.
Okay, but we'll table any action on that, but we will be moving in that direction.
All right.
Second,
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm sorry, we had to run back to that.
Great stuff on that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're back to public comment? Yeah, I'm sorry, you're over my right shoulder.
No, I just wanted to check, I think I heard you say the tax collector report showed 99% collection rate.
It shows, let me go,
99.2.
99.20 or 24.
So since we have some Board of Finance members here, I think I also heard at a meeting that you suggested they use 98% collection rate.
That's what we actually started with the 98. But this is actually new information that she shared with us today that we will share with the Board of Finance this evening.
Thank you. I just want to make sure that's what I thought I remembered.
As a matter of fact, I had made the comment and quoted it in the newspaper, I guess, and on the Falls Village Forum when we had talked about the 98.1% as it being a good collection rate. And today, actually, Rebecca supplied us with the newest figures, which is
Would make a big change and for the Board of Finance and
right.
But
But again, this is all new information, and I believe you're chairing tonight, Amy. I believe that information was sent out earlier today from Rebecca
Oh, Pete,
about the 99. Yes. Okay, so. Okay.
I have one more comment.
And you are?
Denise Jones. It is actually state statute. When you have an executive session, the people who are in the executive session have to be listed in the minutes.
If in the executive session, it is somebody other than the members of that board or commission.
Read I 231, but we don't need to argue about it here. I just was making.
No, you must make a motion to include them into the executive session, in the board or commission.
Well, in that case, we have.
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
7:06.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all very much.
And then I make a motion to appoint you chair. Is that how it would work? I guess?
I will say that Dave Wilburn is feeling a little under the weather. He asked if I would chair and I agreed, and I need a motion from the group that is.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections?
Since we have to vote from the two Board of Finance members on Zoom.
John,
mute,
yeah, John, your vote, and then John's vote, I guess.
Yep.
And he's still muted? Yeah, they're both muted.
okay, John is on.
Yes, I vote in favor.
Thank you. And now I would like a motion to seat Ginger for David Wilburn, according to his request. Can I have a motion?
Okay.
Steve seconds. All in favor, say
Aye.
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 And John,
Aye.
okay. So you're seated. Thank you, John. We're seated, Ginger. And any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Great. And we'll take some time for public comment. Do we have any comment on what things out here? Well, there is, I think, a time at the end for comment if, okay?
What do you mean?
Oh, hi. How are you?
Greg
Need another agenda?
Marlowe, experience of these. I've had as a board, it's like a meeting prior to, just, you know, something that Steve he resonates with me. Of course, we can't give money to everything because there's only so much money. It's usually. And that's what makes your job so tough. But just something that, just in the will is, question was raised is how internet being brought to the transfer station for you. So they can do their job by shape, instead of having, done waiting a year for me at home. Sorry. So what I'm just wanted to make the point that they were struggling to pay that menial amount of money, I don't know what it is, $100 a month, extra to get communication to that job. So just something to kind of keep in mind, it's a very tricky point where you get the balancing where the community now will suffer versus gained by that little bit of money on the public. So,
News to me, thank you. Any other? Hi, Vincent.
I just wanted to say that I thought it was a very interesting meeting, and I brought to the point that it's not being otherwise it's not foolish, and I think it's important that the Board of Finance looks with attention, looks 3 years out, looks where they cut. Taking specifically of P and Z and in other areas that allow for other advice, legal and expertise that's needed. There's so much cut out of that, and I think we don't know what we don't know. So I hope that this will be reconsidered and put back out.
Anybody else? Okay, well, there will be another opportunity at the end of the meeting. Thank you. Written communications. We have just one. I'm going to read it out loud from a copy of the email sent from Fred Laser on behalf of Planning and Zoning to the Selectmen. And it is from April 16th. It says to Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance. The Planning and Zoning Commission anticipates a busy schedule for fiscal year 24-25 with future proposed subdivisions, public hearings, regulation review and updates, meetings, state mandates, and increased review and attention to construction in town by our ZEO. Additionally, the Commission is concerned that the ZEO funding may be expended prematurely due to the additional ZEO workload and the Commission's need for research and expertise on increasingly complicated zoning issues. The Commission did a thorough analysis and evaluation of its 24-25 budget at its January meeting and made appropriate adjustments in order to maintain a realistic budget. So the Commission would therefore request the P&Z budget remain intact as proposed for the fiscal year 24-25 respectfully submitted Fred Laser, P and Z chairman. So that's the only communication that I received, and Carol kindly copied, which I hope all of you have a copy of this now. So now we, Board of Finance is formally in receipt of this communication dated April 16th. No other communications that anyone else received? Okay. Reports. Secretary's report. I'd like just to quickly ask, before I ask for a motion, does anybody around the table, would they prefer to approve these, or on Zoom, approve the minutes one at a time, or shall we approve them in total?
Didn't we decide that last time that we had to do them individually?
No, only if there was
amendments.
amendments.
Only if there's amendments, okay.
Yes, so that's my question. Does anyone anticipate any amendments, including Ginger and John, to the minutes, April 3rd, April 8th, April 16th, April 24th, and April 29th? Okay, so may I have a motion to approve the secretary's reports for April 3rd, April 8th, April 16th, April 24th, April 29th, 2024 as approve them as they are.
Second.
Steve and Carol. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Any opposed? Okay, go. So moved. Treasurer's report for April. We received those. Can I, for the purpose of discussion, if necessary, may I have a motion to receive the treasurer's report for April 2024? You get a motion? Okay, so moved by Tom, a second?
Second.
Steve? Okay, so now is there any discussion or questions? One or two, Michelle, nothing major. One is on the general fund account summary, you have the Litchfield Bancorp certificate of deposit maturity 2/3/2024. Has that been renewed?
It has been renewed. Right, information with the balance and the rate. I know the rate went up. I on my head, I can't think of what it was. So
Will that
and
be
that
okay?
balance will also go up with the interest, but they're sending me the information.
Great. So pending documentation,
That'll be changed. Yep.
same with Torrington Savings Bank and NBT for next month's report.
Shorington Savings Bank is as of April 30th.
Yeah.
NBT will be next month updated also.
Okay, so it is planned to be renewed, or have they been renewed?
No, when the NBT, I'd have to look up when the renewal date is.
4/30/2024 is not the renewal date.
Those are our capital reserve accounts.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's not.
These are CDs, though, that's.
The CD is up here.
It says,
Oh, because those are the reserve CDs, those are not like yeah,
there's no renewal on these.
there is not. On
The-
those.
the
Those
date-
are-
That's
those are
just the
really-
date
Yeah.
of when those totals. Okay, thank you. Did anyone else have any questions about the treasurer's reports? John or Ginger?
No questions.
No questions from me.
Okay. So may I have a motion to receive the treasurer's report? Oh, we have a motion. Can I have a vote in favor of those on that motion? All in
Aye.
favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay, received the treasurer's report. And we're going to go to the tax collector's report. Remember Michelle's notes too.
And again, Madam Chairman, just to call to your attention, the latest collection rate is 99.24.
99.24 is a combination of this current year's tax and past year's collector, right? Okay. Yes. I know I have it.
No, that's it.
Or, excuse me, no,
That's just.
that's just this year.
That's it, they're not past
I
it, they're not
apologize.
included.
That's just this year. I was looking at something else here. I apologize.
She does have cover months.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I was looking at some,
Problem.
okay, I
Problem.
was looking at the 98%.
May I have a motion to receive the tax collector's April 30th, 2024 report as presented?
So moved.
Tom, and seconded by Carol. Any questions or discussion? Hey, bravo. That's what I would say. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, moving right along here. We are going now to the Board of Education's budget. And may I have a motion to receive the Board of Education's report dated April 30th, 2024 as presented? Just to get the discussion going.
So moved.
Thank you, Carol. Seconded?
Second.
Steve, thank you. Okay, any questions on the report? It looks like, from what I can see, they're 80% spent of what they projected, and we've got a few more months. Sounds about right, but feel free, ask questions. We even have Kat here.
We are right on target.
That's great to hear. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Alright,
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so moved, and that is all in favor. Motion carries. Okay, now we have our selectmen's report.
Well, with respect to the busy agenda you have this evening, I will move right along. The town of Canaan Cemetery and town of Canaan Cemetery sexton, we appointed Ed Tracy Wilson as sexton for all the cemeteries other than Grassy Hill, where Dick Hines is still the sexton there. We also appointed planning and zoning alternate Mark Rosen. I had a meeting this morning with Eversource, two representatives from Eversource regarding the work being done on the substation here in town. The bulk of the work will start in January. They will start, and I forgot to mention this at the last meeting, but they will start moving more equipment in November. But they will start working in earnest until January. They are doing some work there now. Their footprint for the substation will be a little bit bigger. And when I say the footprint, I will actually be referring to the fenced-in area. They're extending that out a little bit further as they build up in that substation. The one of the nice things here is we will have all new equipment here. I'll pass that on to the assessor. All new equipment here, Eversource, and it will certainly help us. We also talked about trees and tree removal and getting together in a few weeks with their arborists to talk about removal of trees. The biggest thing that we had to talk about, which kind of stuck in my claw, as people could imagine, is they shut down the bridge twice in the past couple of weeks, and they failed to notify us. They were actually subcontractors of Eversource. So they closed that. And for our emergency service personnel, that is, it's not just getting to work. It's if we had to respond to something over there.
so Dave, the substation is the hydro and not the work maintenance garage?
No, not the work maintenance.
Okay,
Everything is down there.
okay, because that's what, First Light or something, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's Eversource.
Okay.
So that's who that'll be. Moving along, I've applied with the school, and Nikki Blass has been my contact, the school librarian up at Lee H. Kelly School for an active transportation micro grant. I know Steve was here before when I spoke about it. It's primarily bicycle safety and pedestrian safety, making the town more pedestrian bicycle friendly. As many of you know, we are right on the Western New England Greenway, which is a major, at least through Western New England, a major route. Again, it's a small grant, but any grant is worth it, and we're working with, and it really does fit into, as you probably know, those of you who've had children who've gone through Kellogg, it fits right in with their, and let me see if I get this right, walk, roll, run, bike, whatever day that they have.
They did
Have May, and it will be next,
It's this Wednesday.
it's going to be this Wednesday, and it'll be in October. If it doesn't rain. It rained last week, so it was canceled. So again, it's a good thing. Litchfield County Housing, and I put that as a whole. We had meetings on April 16th and 23rd. Our next meeting is on May 17th. Educational cost sharing. Our prior fiscal year, 22-23, it was $125,752. Our 23-24 current fiscal year is $125,752. It's no change. Northwest Hills Council of Government. Again, I'm not going to read the letter into the record here. We read it in the selectmen's meeting, but as you know, we receive checks on a regular basis out of the National Opioid Settlement. We, along with other towns within the COG, pool our monies together, because any of our monies by themselves, I think the largest check we received was like $400, which really doesn't amount to much. But when we pool that money together, the COG is able to do more, and they have 2 new initiatives that they've been working on. Bike Walk Connecticut, September 8th, 2024. We'll have a number of folks riding their bicycle through here, much like the tour of Tour de Litchfield. And they might be asking to set up a pop-up tent on the green. We'll probably hear a little bit later in the summertime as a water stop for the walkers and the bikers. Our Memorial Day parade will be at, well, of course, we'll convene on the green at 10. I think that everyone's going to be pleased with the program that the Board of Selectmen are putting together. National Day of Prayer was on Thursday, May 2nd, held on the town green. Over 30 participants. It's the largest turnout that I've seen that time I've been there. We've sent a letter to Margot and Chuck Lewis for organizing it, putting it all together. Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day will be at the town garage, June 8th, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. We received a certificate from the Secretary of State thanking us for the implementation of early voting. Our bridge and infrastructure meeting was canceled, but it will be rescheduled for this Thursday. Meeting with Yucatec this morning regarding our IT needs and upgrades for our early balloting for the election, where we'll be utilizing the senior center. They came and did a survey today, and they will get back to us with some sort of agreement, contract, what have you, on what they're going to do. But I think it will actually help our social service director to have some better internet also over there also. Our trips grants that we had hoped to get. I was notified by the state and by the COG that we did not receive the grant. That was for more sidewalks in town. I can look at one of our former selectmen over my right-hand shoulder and tell that we measured, did a lot of measuring, and so on and so forth, and it just didn't come to fruition. But there will be a second wave of trips monies, and when that money comes, we'll try applying for it again. I had 2 invoices from Allied Engineering, and I will share them with the chair here. But they're for 2 bills. One that had to do with modifications of a plan for 35 Railroad Street. That was way back in September. Actually, it was in August and September. And I believe that we were going to cover that with ARPA funds. I just need to go back and check the minutes of the 35 railroad streets, but I believe that this was covered. And we have one for $2,200, well, $2,297.50 that, for the, parking plan that we haven't, paid, AEA for yet. I did give copies, to Fred Laser from the P and Z, and I will supply, Fred's not here, but I will supply, a copy to you also. I just haven't had a chance to run any more off. And we do want to pay, because obviously this was way back in September. So we use AEA quite a bit. We want to use them in the future. And again, these were hand delivered to me by George Johansson from AEA.
Can I ask a question about that one?
Yes.
I'm sorry that Fred didn't stay. So I'm trying to understand a little bit about he was explaining that that's the kind of thing that comes out of their budget.
Yes, but the problem with this was that there was no prior approval by the Board of P and Z, excuse me, and the Board of Selectmen.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it. Got it.
So we need to, figure out how we're going to pay this,
Right.
approve it,
Mhm.
and have it paid, because again, there's nothing worse than a town being a deadbeat here and not paying for this. And I'm not sure how we are going to handle this at this point in time, but I do want to make the Board of Finance aware of it. So if you see the expenditures, again, the smaller one, I believe, will be handled by our ARPA funds, because we had already approved monies, but I do have to double check that. The larger one was never approved by the Board of Selectmen or the P and Z. Okay.
I have a question about that, Dave. How did this happen where work was authorized without prior approval by either the selectmen or the zoning commission?
Just was never brought in front of, is that John? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, I apologize, John. I'm way down here at the end of the table. It shouldn't have happened. It should have gone from the P and Z up to the Board of Selectmen for approval. It did not.
It's a planning and zoning item. It's coming out of planning and zoning budget lines. There's no need to go to things up to the court of selectmen.
I would
This wasn't approved by
But-
zoning?
It was discussed with planning and zoning. This is up for the bill as and budgetation. But we didn't know that there was. And the board of selectmen knew about it as well, because it was on the 35 terms.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like people didn't know about it. It just didn't get.
It was not approved and
It was, the bill is just coming to late now. I'm not sure why the bill's not passed already.
well, it was actually received from the Mr. Johansson, George Johansson, who wanted to meet with me regarding it. And
I was talking about the planning and zoning.
okay. Again, it
So you're saying that didn't have to be approved by the Board of Selectmen because it was automatically
I
paid?
believe it, I still believe it's had to be run by the Board of Selectmen.
Okay,
Not to enter into the discussion, but I think it still had to be approved by the for the appropriation of funds. And I'll let the discussion stay there.
Can I point out one thing that bill could be negotiated to? George Johansson was very late getting his bill through.
yeah, but that one's dated what, September?
The one's dated September. Both of them are dated.
Yeah, so-
September. But I just want to make you aware.
When did we get it? I don't know, but it was dated September.
And I received it.
Is this a good time for for questions about the 35 railroads? Just catching up with whether there's been, okay, all right.
They're on down.
Can't let you go. Keep going.
Okay, parking plan, that was commissioned here. Okay, we're going to let the, Board of Selectmen look at it because we have a new Board of Select. I mean, I'm the only remaining one from the, last Board of Selectmen, so I would like the input of the other two selectmen when we look at it. So we tabled that. Falls Village Inn, the trees, our selectman Chris Kinsella is gonna go take a look and make sure that the tree is put in the right spot and that it won't encroach on any property or go into any rain field.
I just caught the latter end of that when you were doing the selectmen's meeting, you were reading something about a statute on that. Is it the kind of type of tree that has to be the same or what?
Well, one would think you do one for one, and it doesn't tell you in the statute.
Oh,
one
okay,
for
I thought,
one,
that's
okay?
right.
And all it says is, you have to be asked by the owner of the property, which would be Great Falls LLC, so. But I just want to make sure that when we put the tree in, I have no problem with doing it, but we do something that is correct. That
Okay.
doesn't come back later on to be a problem. So. Herbicide working group, again, the herbicide working group has there's legislation out there telling everyone all the railroads on what type of herbicide to use, and I'm not going to go through this entire thing. So there is House Bill 5219, which if it finally passes, which I believe it will dictate the railroads to give us their vegetation management plan, and we would post that on our town website. And again, long list of requirements concerning use near water courses, aquifers, wetlands, and sensitive areas as determined by DEP. So again, this is what members of our community, such as Wood Sinclair, has been working on for years.
It's the River Commission too.
Yes. So as you know, Carl, this is a big step here.
Oh, it is massive, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tremendous step to just get them to do that. 35 Railroad Street. Again, we are looking at having a survey done on the easement. Okay, I spoke with our attorney, Emily Vale, and with the surveyor, Matt Kiefer. I'm waiting, probably early this week, I'll have some answers on that.
We've been waiting a long time on that.
We have them, but there's some questions about the easement, so on and so forth. So it needs to have a survey. Economic development, Judy is still going through a number of things. Our selected and Judy Jacobs still going through a number of things, having to do with grants and so forth. So we're still seeking them out. And that is it. And I know you have a busy agenda beyond that, so I tried to move right along.
I just want a question on 35 Railroad Street, just making, we're talking about the surveyor, we're talking about the lawyers, we're talking about everything, but the buyer's still ready. He still wants to do this. You've had
talked to the buyer
communication.
last week and spoke to him briefly. I reached out to him this morning, but I didn't connect with him. But I
Okay.
have to be honest with you, Carol, I've been in and out of the office. I had several meetings outside the office.
Because we're talking about the surveyor and everything else,
Right.
and then I want to see any interest wane that's he disappears.
Carl, did you have a question?
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I understand that the survey has to be done. But I don't understand why there's been a delay in getting it done.
The primary delay, to be quite honest with you, okay, is getting Matt Kiefer.
Oh, availability. Yeah, no, they're in very high demand, so
Yes,
that's.
and-
You have to call him at 7 o'clock in the morning or you don't get it.
Exactly, and I had the opportunity to meet with him a couple weeks ago with our attorney, and we wanted to make sure that we were all in the same loop and what we were looking at. And he has done, as you well know, he's done several surveys in the area over the years. If I could just give those of you who utilized him, I mean, he came with a data box just full of surveys that he's done in the center of town for the last, I don't know how many years. And we looked at a number of maps, so it's his availability.
Yeah, they're in high demand generally, but thank you very much. Any other questions for
Yeah,
the
I
first?
have a follow-up question on that. Dave, does Matt tell you when he can get the survey done?
He's right now, John, researching the other surveys that were done. There's some questions that he's looking at, prior engineering plans of what occurred on the property. And well, as of this morning, I haven't heard anything from our council regarding it. So I have to beg a little bit of ignorance. And again, I'll reach out to our council tomorrow morning because I was bouncing in and out this morning with several different issues and meetings.
Okay, well, I just want to mention, it's been, I think, 5 months, close to 5 months.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I'm running out of patience with this because everybody knows when you sell land and you're moving property lines that a survey is necessary. I just don't understand why this has taken so long. So if it's not wrapped up by the time of our next meeting, I think I'm going to have some very pointed questions about why this is taking so long.
Okay, and perhaps at that time, we should have our legal counsel here that you can ask them directly.
I can certainly do that, but I've never understood a lawyer to get in the way of a survey, so I just don't understand what's going on.
Again, we just spoke, John, I'm sorry about the availability of the surveyor.
All right, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So any other questions of the first selectman?
And may I just add the survey? Back in 2000, that survey of that land, back in 2005, Matt did a survey of that piece of property.
Which is why.
So there was a previous survey done on that property, and there were a few adjustments that were made along the side where I'm not sure who lives in that house now, but that's where Betsy Ellis now.
There's no doubt that
Well,
that
there
was
were some adjustments that were made along.
yeah, why you would go back to the person who did it
Yeah.
before, because otherwise you're having to redo a lot of work.
My question would be, why wasn't this done before we sold it?
Well, we
Before-
haven't
Well, the
sold-
survey was done, the regular surveys are done. This is just to mark out where the right of way is going
Right,
to go,
it's
so
the
that
easement.
legally, the easement, so that it's actually
Still,
documented.
why wasn't it done? Why?
Well, it is in the process. We haven't sold the building yet, so the building hasn't
Yeah.
closed, so this is still a prior to, unfortunately, Steve.
Okay, let's hope,
It should have been done a long time ago, but
let's hope that all that.
it is what it is.
And that Matt can get to it within the month. That would be really excellent. Okay, thank you so much, Dave.
No pressure, Dave.
I
All part of the job.
yeah, I'd like a motion to add 2 items to new business, please. One is new business E would be, I believe Michelle said, we need to make an appropriation of $6,000 into the revenue line 30-2210-DR 920. And then the expense line 1010-GR-452. And this is for because we have received the grant for the town clerk from the state of Connecticut. So I just want to add that to new business. That's number E, or letter E.
Letter E.
And then I would like to add, I would like a motion. Well, first we'll do that one. I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Thank you, Carol. Second,
Okay.
Steve, thanks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No objections? Cool. Okay, then I would like a motion, please.
Oh, there, okay, now they have one on muted.
Okay, may I have a motion to add to the agenda under new business, letter F, for the Board of Finance to recommend Capital One as an approved financial institution the town of Canaan is permitted to do business with to the town meeting agenda that we will schedule. Doesn't mean we're gonna put money into it or anything. I just need to get it on the agenda. Can I have a motion? Carol, second.
Second.
Thanks, Steve. All in favor of putting this on the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, good. Thank you so much. Okay, moving right along to new business. Our first thing is to schedule a town meeting for consideration of fiscal year 24-25 municipal and education spending plans and post appropriations. And that's to schedule the meeting. Do we,
So make a motion, I make a motion to do that, or?
well, we need to kind of discuss
Pick the date
date.
first? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sure. So, are there any requirements for when the window within which we need to schedule that? Is it 2 weeks after last Friday?
Has to be at least 2 weeks after the public hearing,
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Minimum?
minimum.
Yeah,
We can't have it before the 24th.
okay. So that is Memorial Day weekend. We wouldn't want to touch that anyway.
I'd go to 31st.
So we have the 28th, 29th, and 30th and 31st to consider. Does anybody want to make a motion
I make a motion that you do it on the 31st.
that we do it on the 31st?
That's
That's a
a
Friday.
Friday.
That's good.
There's the historical system.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's not a good date.
Okay, that's not a good.
Yeah. I got it.
Hmm.
Okay,
You can't, can we go?
so we could do.
Yes.
Or we can do Thursday, the 30th.
I can't do Thursday, the 30th, because I'll be out of town.
What about the 7th?
I can do the 7th.
How do people feel about going in that late into June?
Well, we're gonna set the mill rate that same date, so that gives her 3 weeks to,
Not much time.
That's not much.
What about the 29th?
I cannot do the 7th.
What about
Okay.
the 29th of May?
That's.
Wednesday, the
That's
29th?
Wednesday.
Yeah,
here's an issue with the 29th, some of the,
Wednesdays work.
this weekenders. Today's your birthday, so we'll
okay,
sing
just,
to you,
just
okay?
don't wanna have too much conversation, but Michelle says Wednesday.
They work at the fair house, if you'd like me to ask for that, I can do it right now.
Well, let's hold on and just see how people around the table, including Ginger and John, feel about the 29th Wednesday.
Here's my question on that, can, town meetings be zoomed, or they have to be in person?
In person.
See, that's
to
where I run
vote.
into a problem, because there's an awful lot of people that are not in town that have the right to vote on this, and I think that to do it on a Wednesday is really kind of tough for the second home weekenders. That's what my thinking is,
Are a lot of weekenders registered to vote?
they don't have to
Oh,
be,
they don't.
they're taxpayers, so that's why I have a problem doing something like that in the middle of the week, that's always been an issue.
Excellent. So Carol's brought up a good point to include as many. Dave, did you have something to add?
Was it a Saturday last year?
I think we tried to hit Friday.
T and Z has a meeting on the 29th.
Okay, so we're looking at the 7th right now.
And I think that if we can't do it on the 24th, obviously, and if we can't do it on the 31st because there's something going on, I think Judy said. So that leaves us the 7th if we want to be fair to the,
Or the 3rd. Monday's usually. what-
Amy?
Monday,
Can I make a
how is
suggestion?
Monday? Yes,
Can I make a
please.
suggestion? How
Yes.
about Saturday morning, the 1st?
Can you do a town meeting on a Saturday morning?
absolutely.
Why not?
I don't think you'll have the turnout.
You just,
It's a
why wouldn't you have a
Saturday.
turnout
If you
on
make it
Saturday
early in the
morning?
I think people will wanna.
John's talking right now.
I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
I don't think people are gonna be any more inclined to come on a Friday night than they would on a Saturday morning. Friday night would be ideal, but if we can't do it, there's no reason why it couldn't work on Saturday morning.
I agree with that.
What about Monday, the 3rd?
Yes. Those are meetings, like they're.
A lot of meetings on the
Yeah.
3rd.
A lot of meetings
On Mondays.
Monday and Tuesday.
And you're gonna lose.
I think by doing,
You're gonna lose the weekender vote that Carol.
well, I think, I agree with John, because if they want to be there, they'll be there. If people think it's important, but we're giving that day as an opportunity for everybody. The majority of people would be in town.
Is that Memorial Day weekend?
No, Memorial Day weekend is early this year.
June 1, right?
Okay.
Right.
We have 2 dates on the table and there are pros and cons to both. June 1st is, it's maybe challenging for some people to make some time on their weekend to be there. However, it gives an extra week for our team in town hall to get things, whatever is approved, lined up.
The text.
Yeah, tax collector in particular, who does an amazing job for us. June 7th is another opportunity. The pros of that are similar to June 1st in that it allows our weekenders to have an opportunity to vote, but it takes away time from our team to prepare what's necessary. Can I have a motion just to throw it out there?
I make a motion that we do it on the first
Can I have a
Saturday,
second?
the 1st.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ginger seconded.
No, I think it was just,
John seconded. Any, further discussion about it?
I'm sorry, I'm looking down at, what time are you talking about?
I am not in town that whole week, so I would need somebody to bring the, budgets and stuff, so I just
Well,
want
I
to make sure
can
that.
collect them for you.
Okay, I just want to make sure that somebody is able to. Sorry, I'm not trying to, whatever.
Put them in a box, we'll get them there.
I just want to make
Get 'em
sure.
there.
I collected them when it adds up one house.
Okay, so also the question is,
Yeah,
is the firehouse even available that day?
I can ask.
Okay, we'll hold off until we find out, like, if, is there any discussion about, yes, Tom?
There's no minimum requirement, is there?
Minimum requirement.
The number of people that show up.
Oh, no.
No, so 3 people show up, okay.
Yeah,
Any other thoughts?
I'm sorry,
Did Rebecca give it to me like that she wanted?
By the end of May?
yeah.
But yeah,
She
yeah,
wants it at least to the time of hours for selectmen.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
That's
maintained.
want it done by the third week, John.
Hey,
So anyway. So you asked your question. Any other questions about June 1st? And if we did it at, what are you thinking?
10 o'clock in the morning. I think most people are out of bed.
So there's no reason not to do it then? What?
You don't know that, we, so that people know, I mean, it's,
I mean, you're doing your errands, just stop by.
yeah, exactly,
Vote.
yep.
Got a lot of families doing ballgame.
See, but everybody has something, if you notice the discussion is going along, everybody's had something, and we have to make a decision, and I think that to be fair to those people who are weekenders only, you need to give them a choice, 10 o'clock Saturday morning, if they show up, they show up, if they don't, they don't, it's not something we can control.
I wish we don't have a lot of choices.
No, we don't.
I don't know if doing it earlier would be better for people. I don't think that helps. That does not.
No, I think 10 o'clock is a good
You're
time.
talking about families who might have ball games and stuff to go to, so I don't know if you want to do.
So what you're doing is you're prioritizing weekenders.
No, we're not.
families.
We're not.
That's what you're doing. Middle of the week is-
Middle of the week, you're probably, nobody gets to vote. The weekend, Friday, Saturday,
People could vote.
not the weekender,
Well,
because
that's
it's
what I'm
in person only. No, we're not. But you still have people that live here on Saturday and Sunday. They don't.
To make it possible for.
I know, but you're not prioritizing anybody. Exactly. It has nothing to do with prioritizing weekenders versus regular people.
My question is
Full-timers.
actually to some other people in the room who might know if doing it earlier on a Saturday would be less of a conflict for families who are running around taking kids to games.
Saturday's
difficult. What?
Saturday's difficult for people who are here.
Because
Difficult because that's the weekend and people have their priorities, show up for Friday. Or
It's the 31st.
for parties or what have
I can't say we can't do that because there's a function going on the 31st, and then there's a function going on here on Wednesday, so.
if we did it on the 31st, is there a time period? I don't think we have a time period when we can do it to avoid
No,
conflict with an event.
no, the dinner is that.
Actually did it at a different spot.
Yeah, but then those people attend.
So many people that you have, there's the duplicates, if you will, who.
Later,
Right.
because we're usually done by 7, so did it by 8.
7:30?
Who knows? It means.
Here, 7:30.
7:30?
Or the children, or not the children's theater, over at
But
the
7:30?
No, I think.
senior center.
8?
8 o'clock, it's too late
No.
on Friday. No, that 8 o'clock is late, I think.
Why? I mean,
It's, to me, 8 o'clock on a Friday night is just as difficult as a Saturday morning at 10, so I don't know.
okay, for
Why?
families, right?
Are you still soliciting
The
the
first.
gentleman behind you is looking?
Well, I think Greg and I were probably saying the same thing. As P and Z, we did meetings for the BOCD on Saturday mornings and we had 75 or 80 people show up at the meeting. So I think you can have success on a Saturday morning if you
let
No,
people know the.
well in advance.
It's just that the number of people there said
John.
it wasn't good for families because they had to watch, kid.
You know, I hear everything, I don't say we did have success doing it.
I want to hear from Hazel.
There have been meetings on Saturday mornings, and we've done this many times. And the people that go to meetings all week long. Pick the weekend off. There are people that volunteers and whatever. And there was very limited numbers of people.
From that group, yeah, okay. So we have a motion on the table to do the first right now.
Yes.
Seconded.
And it was seconded. Do we want to amend that or not, Carol, to be the 31st at do you want?
I'm
to amend
sticking,
it or do you wanna stay?
I'm gonna keep it the same, 10 o'clock Saturday morning, and, we
Okay.
can, you start picking apart
Great.
who can be there, who can't be there, whatever,
Question, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. All in favor of Saturday, I'm gonna go around because I don't know about consensus for the sake of this around the table about Saturday at 10. Carol,
Yeah, aye.
Tom,
Nay.
Steve.
Nay.
Nay, and Ginger
Aye.
and John
Aye.
and me. Aye.
Okay.
I just, unfortunately, I just don't see another solution.
Done.
Okay.
So 10 o'clock, could you? Please, AM on 6/1/24. Thank you. Then our next item on new business is consideration. A recommendation of the education spending plan for fiscal year 24-25 at town meeting and appropriation amount. We had a town hearing on Friday, and we got some feedback from the community. Is there a motion that anyone wants to make with regard to new business item B?
So that's the plan that they've already presented, right?
It'll have to kind of be.
I know, but
verbatim.
I need a motion, either a motion to recommend to be sent to town meeting.
On June 1st.
On June 1st.
Oh, I'm just looking at this. Shall a motion that states as follows: shall the town of Canaan appropriate up to the sum of $3,670,854 educational expenses. Lee H. College School, $2,253,591. Region 1, $1,417,263 for fiscal year 24-25. So I'm asking for that motion, and it would be for the town meeting on June 1st at 10 a.m. So I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion?
Motion has to be to recommend to send to town meeting that amount.
Okay,
Okay.
then I'm amending it that way. Or
And
Tom is
Tom is
amending
good.
it that
You're-
way.
Okay, and he's,
So it needs, so
He
it says
moved
the
it
way
and I
you-
seconded it.
says the way, says what you needed to say. Okay. So, any discussion? I don't hear any. All in favor, say aye, and I'm gonna go round again.
aye.
Aye.
And Ginger,
Aye.
John,
I for me.
and I for me. So we will go with that one. Okay. And then I need a motion to recommend the municipal spending plan for 24-25 to town meeting. On June 1st, 2024. At 10 a.m. At location to be determined. To appropriate municipal spending up to the sum of $2,328,687.47 for general municipal purposes for fiscal year 24-25. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Carol,
Second.
seconded by Steve. I'd like to have discussion.
I just want to
Hello?
understand what that number is. That's the number that we arrived at after we made the cuts?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
So, there's discussion now. No one's speaking anything, but I'm gonna throw in some thoughts based on the town hearing that we had on Friday. I would like to amend, I would like to consider amending that, the group to consider amending that by restoring the capital reserves up to the level, I think it's $17,025 more. And I'm also interested in hearing people's thoughts about restoring at least two legal line items, the one for Board of Selectmen and P&Z. I'm concerned that we be covered for that for the instance in those particular vulnerable departments. Not so much some of the others, but that one in particular. And for Board of Finance, because as was pointed out at the meeting by Lou, that enabled our group to obtain counsel independent from the Board of Selectmen to double check things. I don't have those numbers handy, but I can look them up. And I think, and I'm still interested in restoring the $2,500, I think, to the library. So I don't know if there's discussion, but I'd welcome it. Okay.
I'll just say this, Amy, I think you've mentioned three things.
Yes.
One are the legal expense line items for planning and zoning and the selectmen, and possibly.
And Board of Finance.
Possibly even the Board of Finance, that's one item. The second
Right.
was to not cut the additions to the capital reserves by the 15% that the selectmen decided to cut and we agreed with. And the third is the $2,500 in the library. So I'll take them in reverse order. We've discussed the library issue ad nauseum. I've heard nothing that persuades me that we need to make a change on that. As Steve Dean pointed out last meeting and many meetings before, we'd like to say yes to everybody, but we can't if we're going to try to get our spending and revenue in line. So I'm against that amendment. The additions to capital reserves, it would be nice that we didn't have to give those a haircut, but once again, we're in a position of relative financial austerity here. So I'm not inclined to change our prior decision on that. And on legal expenses, and I practiced law for 50 years, if there is a legal expense that the selectmen, that the Planning and Zoning Commission, or that the Board of Finance anticipates, they can come to the Board of Finance and ask. We have the authority to provide, as everybody knows, $20,000 of emergency relief without a town meeting. The reason that we did not allow those full allocations that the selectmen asked is that they haven't spent the money over the last 5 years. This was the classic example of budgeting for items that were not spent. And that was our reason for not doing it again. And we're not putting anybody in jeopardy. If we really have a legal problem, the small amounts we would allocate would not begin to cover it. They wouldn't even get the first day's worth of work done. So I don't see any reason to change our mind on that as well. So My opinion is on all three of those things, of the changes that you're asking us to consider, I would oppose all three.
Okay, thanks, John. I just want to just add, because I didn't give much explanation. The legal thing I don't think covers a lawsuit by any means, but it allows those units, those department, those cost units to consult with expertise in order to avoid any major costs, major legal costs. But as you said, you know, they can ask for that money. It's just it can be very handy to be able to know that you have a modest amount in that budget so that you don't hesitate or lose time in checking for legal expertise on matters that may, if you don't check, may cause much larger legal issues. On that matter, if that's on this matter, Dave, comment.
My comment would only be that if we maintained what we had there, and I certainly hear what John is saying, that we didn't spend it in the past, and I would consider that quite fortunate that we didn't. But if we had a personnel matter that we had to handle or get an opinion on in a short time, I would think that perhaps that amount of money would cover us to get some sort of legal opinion. We can't always count on the fact that our legal counsel right now will always pick up the phone and give us a decision. There may come a day where he does want payment for certain things and so on and so forth. I just think that it's a little bit of a safety net. I understand what John is saying about budgeting, but I would rather budget for that contingency rather than not.
And then lastly, I think I just hold a different opinion than perhaps the majority of this, the Board of Finance, in that I don't feel that we are in an austerity situation. I think we have good lending, good borrowing. We're in a good position to borrow should an emergency happen. We have over $1 million in capital reserves, and we're being extremely conservative in our revenue projections. And I don't believe that, it's my gut that says, I don't believe that the general fund will diminish significantly. It's also my belief that we should stop looking 1 year at a time, but we really need to be looking multiple years at a time. And I don't know how we can start doing that, but I think it would benefit us, because you can't be strategic 1 year at a time. Otherwise, you're doing the same thing over and over again. Oh, we have no money. You have to plan for change. As you've said, John, we need to do things differently, but you can't do change 1 year at a time. You have to do change over time. It's just a difference of opinion, but it looks like, you know, once again, I'm in the minority. It's not a problem. We have a motion on the table, and I'm going to go around the room to vote. Carol, your motion.
I don't think we do have a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we do. Can you reread the motion, please?
Do you want to read the motion again?
It's, well.
Oh, do you want me to
It's on
read?
your piece of paper. Yeah, I didn't write it down.
Not a problem. It's a motion is to recommend the municipal spending plan for 24-25 to town meeting on June 1st, 2024 at 10 a.m. Location to be determined. Okay, at the firehouse. Whoa, go girl.
Yeah.
To appropriate the sum of $3,670,854. Oh, sorry,
2 million.
wrong type. 2 million. Please correct that. $2,328,687.47 for general municipal services for the fiscal year 24-25.
Made by Carol, seconded by Steve.
Made by Carol, seconded by Steve. Vote. Carol,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
And John,
Yes.
and Ginger,
Yes.
and I say nay, but motion carries. Next on our agenda is to schedule a special meeting of the Board of Finance immediately following the town meeting on June 1st. at the firehouse at 10 a.m. And this special meeting would immediately follow that.
So we
And it
don't
would
have to
be
lock in a time. Right?
Immediately
No.
following the town
Okay.
meeting.
We have to wait and vote. And may I have a motion to schedule that?
So moved.
meeting? Thanks, Carol, seconded by
Second.
Steve. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, thank you. So moved. Motion passes. Item F is the,
ED.
No, you skipped E.
oh, E, thanks, E, appropriation. I need a motion to appropriate $6,000 of revenue in line 30-2210-GR-920, along with the expense budget line of also $6,000 for budget line 1010-GR-452. And this represents the grant that was received for the town clerk from the state of Connecticut. Can I have a
So
motion?
moved.
Thank you, Carol.
I don't want you to have
Seconded.
to repeat.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you. Any opposed? Excellent. Can I have that? Yep.
Oh, is it in your memo?
In my mouth.
Okay. Item F. Can I have a motion to recommend to add to the town meeting agenda to be held, that town meeting, such town meeting to be held June 1st at 10 a.m. that a Capital One account be approved as a financial institution permitted for use by the town of Canaan to do business with. This is a recommendation made by Dave Wilburn, and it does not necessarily mean that we will, the town will use that. We are required to go to town meetings so that our voters approve what financial institutions we do business with.
And that's why you have the word account in there, and I don't think it should be in there.
Do I
If
have the word?
You said account.
Said
No.
account.
So that was my question. Are you asking to open an account or you
Yeah.
should consider Capital One as a viable source?
That's what it's supposed to be, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna try that again. The motion is to recommend Capital One as an approved financial institution the town of Canaan is permitted to do business with
Mhm.
to the town meeting agenda. Have I
So
have-
moved.
Thank you, Carol. Seconded.
Second.
Steve, thanks. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
What's in your law?
Thank you very much.
Not much.
You said in the warning?
Sorry?
Will
What's in
you
your-
add that to the warning? The meeting?
For the-
We'll collect everything from the meeting, yes.
Okay.
And we
Moving
need
right-
to warn that. We'll
10 and
talk
5.
with the town clerk.
It'll be on the agenda, but you need to.
It's gotta be in the warning.
Okay.
Right.
Now we are on any other business to become properly before the Board of Finance. I invite you. Anybody at the table? No? Anyone on Zoom? No? Okey dokey. Public comment? Yeah.
Just a reminder that usually the town meeting has a separate moderator and it's not anybody on the board. Normally, we have used in the past, and I don't know if it would be available, is Mark Burke who runs the town meeting. But that's something you might want to, it's not so long to.
That's it, Jeff.
Dave, would you please ask Mark if he'd be willing? And if Mark is unavailable, is there a second one that you recommend? Lou has done. it in the
Lou
past.
has done it in the past.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Usually It's Mark who does it.
Yeah, if he's unavailable, I'd like to have you find somebody else.
So I can think about it and tell David that would be okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And the other thing is that at the town meeting, when the budgets are presented, I believe at the town meeting, there can be motions and seconds and approvals to change items in either one of the budgets. If, if you have enough people there to restore ones, it's something like that.
Is that
Yes, I believe that's true.
I thought you could only.
You can decrease it, but you
Decrease it.
can't.
vote it up or down? I mean, vote yay or nay, but that's not the case.
Check out that, because I'm pretty sure that
Lower the
it
value.
can be,
You can't raise it.
Raise it, it's lower on the floor. Yeah.
let's check that out.
Oh, you're welcome to lower it.
Could you find out,
What
Dave?
you're saying is you can't increase.
Or is there someone
Yeah,
you'd
you might
recommend
want
that
to
we
check it out
ask?
to be sure.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. I'm not sure.
Who should I ask?
Check it out, you may be able to
No lower.
lower, not raise it, but
Yeah,
check it out so you know for sure.
Okay, who should
That way
be
we know.
asked for that, Dave?
let me ask one of the former, for select,
Is that?
maybe Lou would
She
know
doesn't
right
know.
off the top of his head.
Oh,
We will-
sure,
We'll find the answer.
with an explanation for it.
And the statute number, comment since.
I didn't say that, I think you guys is pretty much that vision and I'm really disappointed.
Noted. Okay, anybody else from the public? Okay, may I have a motion to.
It's moved.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.